we out here in Cape Town again. One of the fastest guys with his Honda K series in a CRX. I think it's Lyle Afrika. Lyle Afrika it is, and he operates from his little house. Well, not little, beautiful house. But check his workshop there in the back. Just Hondas out here, and the guys are Honda here in Cape Town. I wish I can find VW guys. I'm like starting to yearn for my VW man. Hey, VW outkies. Let's go look for this guy and hear what's he up to and how's he gonna accommodate us here in Cape Town with the fast CRX. Let's go talk to him here. Sitting here with Lyle Afrika at LA-Racing. You can just see all the Honda engines laying around. I don't want to sit in the studio. I want to sit between all these engines. I'm actually duck of all these Hondas here in Cape Town. It looks like it rains Hondas here in Cape Town. Why are they so full here in Cape Town?
It's definitely a Cape Town thing, I think. Also because street racing is just as big here in Cape Town, and I mean, I can even.
I wouldn't say it's street racing. I'd say it's Honda racing.
Yeah, but it's mainly because of street racing that Hondas are that big. I remember myself when I started getting into racing and stuff. I came from a Toyota, I had an RSI twin cam, and then my upgrade was always to own a VTEC.
Serious?
That was everyone's like dream to own a VTEC. And then eventually I got myself a Honda.
How many years ago is that?
That was 2007. So a good couple of years ago. I actually studied graphic design of all things. So I finished college and then completely ignored graphic design, whatever. I worked multiple places. I did retail, call centers. Then I found myself at the docks doing electrical of all things. So,
oh my word!
But in the same time, I was into my Honda, whatever, and like every other boy racer, obviously try to be the quickest on the street, whatever.
So you started street racing?
Street racing, yeah. So I mean, I can remember the day I got my license. That was the first time I left my area with my car to go watch street racing on that weekend. And I can still remember it was maybe 3 or 4 years continuously, weekend after weekend, I would go watch street racing, get involved with street racing, and it never just ended.
What year did you start getting involved in street racing?
That exact year I got the twin cam. I just turned 17, I got my learners, and so my father, he's also passionate about cars and stuff. He was buying and selling cars at the time. And then he bought me a Mark 1 Golf, I think when I turned 14.
So there was VWs around in Cape Town.
My first car was a VW. But anyway, I was only, I didn't have license or learners or anything. I was only allowed to drive the car of the school in the area. That was all I could do with the car. So look, I was proud whenever I owned a car.
Of course. Whether it was a donkey cart or what, you were happy.
Whether I drove from this stop street to that stop street, that was me in my car. And eventually, he told me, look, if you want another car, whatever, start with this car, like clean it and whatever, advertise it, see if you can sell it for a little profit, and you buy yourself another car. So he basically reared me in that way, basically buy and sell, flip cars and whatever. So that was what I was doing. Sold the Golf, bought another Golf, sold the Golf, bought another Golf, up until a point where I eventually bought this Toyota from this pastor at church. It was a daughter's car. And when I owned that car, that was when I was a little naughty. I went out of the area of the car, went to Gatesville, Athlone, parked with friends and stuff.
But what Toyota was a 16 valve?
It was 16 valve, yeah, twin cam, RSI. It was like a fixer-upper, but it was fun, man. It was like my first sports car, like fast car. And that's when I started like racing down Clipperton Road with random cars. At that time, I won't tell you whatever lie. Street racing was all everyone was doing. It's either.
What year was that?
That was 2006, 2007.
Sure.
So I mean, I was like 17 years old at the time. So yeah, no, I had no license, nothing like that, whatever. But we just wanted to get there. That's all that mattered. We would be like 5 guys, everyone chip in for fuel, man at 20 rand, 50 rand, and we throw fuel in and we just take a drive, go buy us food, whatever, watch the other cars in the parking lot and down the road. Then from there, they would all convoy to multiple spots, industrial areas, and that's where they
But can I tell you something? In the 1980s, I used to come from Joburg to come race here. Those years we used to race with Cortina 30S's and Sierras or Boetie Dirk and them and Jimmy and all those guys. We used to race, we used to go to Indiana and we used to go race some, I don't even remember where. And then it used to be, that was the first time I actually found out about spinning. We used to go to Mitchell's Plain, somewhere there by the
Colorado
beach.
There's
the entrance way, yes,
pavilion,
is that the pavilion?
Yeah.
Okay, and that's where I first got introduced to spinning. And I was a youngster, that was in the 80s. But street racing was hell big here in Cape Town.
Big.
Yeah, we used to do the streets, and you know, the Cape Town has always been big on street racing. But they used to race long distances because the cars were cock slow, man. They needed a long road to get to their top speed.
I know exactly how it went. I can, even up until this time, if I was sit with my father, he can't stop talking about that era with racing. He's like, guys would come in there, 2.8 Skylines, and they would come pull up with their 160Z Datsuns.
Yes, 100%.
And then he would always tell me like there would always be this one random white guy that pull up there with a random car, and everyone would always be so confused. Like, for instance, let's say maybe a guy pull up in a Volvo of all things, or a Capella or something like that, and they would be surprised by this Owens with the small engines that would give that Skylines a run for their money. And then he would talk to me about how like hectic it got at one point. There was cops ended up blocking the N2 while they were racing with like a Casper.
Oh shit, we got cops!
They literally would hide in the bushes, and when the guys come on, pull up in front of them on the N2. It was hectic. That was street racing.
And then, when did you become fast in a Honda?
After losing a lot, actually. So like I said, at that time, that was like the car to have. Whether it be a Toyota twin cam or a Honda dock shape, Corsa GSIs. But out of all the cars, the VTEC was like the pinnacle.
No, sure. VTEC was the manier.
Yeah. So then it was literally you trying to find another guy with a VTEC to see who's better, whatever. And it was race after race, whether you win, lose. I'd learn. Me personally, I would always be up for a challenge. So I'd always enter a race as an underdog, try and find a faster car, and see if I could push myself as a driver to be quicker in the car. So I remember that time I didn't have money and stuff to modify, so the car was bone stock, and it was stock for like maybe 6 years and it was just racing. I met this group of guys one day, all had Hondas, and ended up racing them. But what they did with the car was like, for me, was very unusual, man. So they would line up at the robot next to them, whatever, and then they would bring the RPM up so high it sounded like this engine was gonna blow up to stage the car. And then all three of them, I remember, they all gave me a big run for my money. Off the line, they left me like maybe 2 cars and carried on. And I'm like, what the hell? And I'd ask them like, what's done to the car? They're like, completely stock. I'm like, I don't believe it. Like, how do you leave the line so quick? But anyway, that was like a big idea that I got, I remember. Then they told me, explained to me what to do, bring the RPM up to like 6,500 RPM and just do your thing from there. You will see the car will basically almost like change it to a completely different car, just by how you drive it. And then I met up with them a couple of weeks later, drove with each and every one of them and ended up beating them because I basically got the nick and we did the exact same thing, and it turns out my car ended up being a quicker car than theirs. And that's when let's say my name started moving around amongst the guys, because it would be race after race that I would outlaunch almost every car just because of that one night. And I think it never stopped since that time. Since I've been in that Honda, it's just been Honda after Honda after Honda.
And when did you end up at Killarney on the track to do quarter mile?
On the track, at the time, that was like MSA. We didn't even know about MSA. All of us were just trying to get our cars prepped and ready for street to strip racing. So it was like street cars, and they would
At Killarney,
and they would time it and so on. And then my first time out there was it was like I'm not gonna, I must say, it was an overwhelming feeling. Like, wow, I'm at the racetrack racing now, and it was definitely completely different to the street. And then I think I ended up doing like a 14.9 at the time on that car, and that was like quick. That was quick for like a VTEC. And then I just escalated after that. Eventually the motor gave in, and that's where the mechanics started.
And then you tried building it yourself?
I repaired it. I tried to repair the engine at first, failed on me again, and that's when I actually got more into it. Started reading up on forums and stuff about this Frankenstein conversion, and then I decided, okay, look, let me go for it and try. I have nothing to lose. If it blows up, it blows up. But at least here's where I get my foot in maintaining my own car. So I was never mechanically inclined at the time, and it's through that car that I learned all this knowledge basically today. So I think that's when it all started. Yeah.
And what was your quickest time ending up now on the quarter mile?
Now, like currently, my quickest at Killarney is 10.6.
Shot in. What do you think about our rules and regulations there?
The rules it makes it very tricky, if I must put it this way. Because we were in our brainstorming thinking, look, we have the upper hand, we know what to do. But the minute the rules came out, that literally just took out all our plans. So now it's back to the drawing board now for us to figure out like what's gonna give us the upper hand now. Also considering the distance is very short, so front wheel drive cars are very tricky to get off the line quickly, especially first into second gear. You most of the time you spin yourself, like you dig yourself a hole with wheel spin, especially with the K series.
But 280 meters is not too short.
It isn't, yeah, true. But I mean, you're gonna need basically when you leave the line, that's very important for this short distance. So you can't rely necessarily on power, because power will only help you once you're in motion. So like,
how are you guys gonna handle that?
Again, very tricky. Also because of the tire you're allowed to race with, which makes it even harder. So I mean, a semi is not gonna get as much heat as a full slick. So 10 seconds, I mean, you better off out the burnout actually. Maybe if you got the bucks, try and get maybe tire warmers.
Not allowed.
No tire warmers.
No tire warmers, because only the rich oaks will have tire warmers, and all the oaks that's just average oaks can't buy it.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it's not allowed. Anything that will give you advantage over the next person is not allowed. Anything that's not stipulated in the rules, in any rule book, it says if it's not there, it's not allowed. Finish.
Yeah,
if it's not there, it's not allowed. And our rules is so little because our prize money is so much.
Exactly, yeah.
The prize money is duck, and there's never ever been in this country prize money that there is for this series. And it's not even prize money, it's TV coverage, 10 shows.
Yeah.
This that we're doing right here, who's done that for our racing drivers? Who's promoted our racing drivers to get to the next level?
True.
You know, so we're trying to do that for everybody, so we can take it to the next level. So our government out there can take notice of us and help us take it forward and make it a safer place. You know, it will never stop the racing on the streets, but the more they can enforce by helping us put up legal places, more than one, we'll have less illegal street racing going on. Vincent Krusen said, I must give you guys a message. You guys with all the Hondas here in Cape Town, he races a VW, he won cash days in Joburg and
Okay.
And he says the reason why Cape Townians only use Honda, because they don't have enough torque. So you're scared you're gonna maybe get whiplash in your car if you guys drive proper VWs.
At least in our defense, I can say with a K series engine, there's definitely torque now.
Is that so?
Yeah, boy.
So now, but remember, VW don't really have much power. They got a lot of torque anyways. And now we're coming with an engine that makes a shit lot of power, and it also has torque. So it's gonna make it for very interesting racing.
But I hope there can be a mixture of Toyotas and Nissans and VVLs and all that goede.
Yeah, VBLs is big here in Cape Town as well. Very big, yeah.
But do they do drag racing with
Yes.
this? Oh really?
Yeah, there's a hell of a lot of VBL guys or enthusiasts. Yeah.
So I'm sure once this show goes out and it goes viral here in Cape Town, all you VVL man, get hold of me. I'll come back to Cape Town and I'm going to come sit and talk kak with all of you one of these days. There's still a long road for this whole thing to be built big. This is the most talked about thing in the whole of South Africa with street races, and I hope we're going to pull it off. And I hope one of you Cape Town guys can really be there in the top 10 with the Joburg guys and cause havoc between everyone.
I'm definitely hoping we do enough R&D to get our car set up correctly, and hopefully we can go over to Joburg banner up there. It'll be fun.
Lyle Afrika, Ismail Peck, National Motorsport Mzansi. Cheers everyone.